things out. You know, we're walking around. It's better than doing this inside. My name's Armando Biseglia, and besides having Baco and Bonanno right behind you on Federal Hill, it's an honor to also be the chairman of Federal Hill Commerce Association. You know, when I talk to Rick about certain things, he always tells me to add something of myself, something that I want to add for everybody. I want to take you all back to Columbus Day when we were back there, and the mayor said something that was quite important. He said, we really have to look at where we are and what we do. And I think the big word we're going to be using today is renaissance. And that's very personal to me. Most people know that last year at this time I took a hiatus. It was what, 17-day hiatus? Yeah, at least. It scared a few people, but the mayor had said something at Columbus Day that it was the type of people that just kind of come out of the ashes. That's who we are on the Hill. And I go back to that because a lot of people that are standing here were a very important process of our growth, my growth and my family's growth. And when I was down, they came up and they helped and they worked hard. And that's really the important part of what this Federal Hill, this group, this family, this street, this associate, all of it together as a whole. And it's very important that we think about that when we talk about all this. This is not one person. This is not one nationality. It's not one. It's a melting pot. It's a commerce of everything that everyone on the street does, from when they wake up in the morning to when they go to sleep. When we carry the flag on our side, it's the Federal Hill flag. It's not the Italian flag or the American. It's the Hill, and we try and we work hard to keep this street what it needs to be. These people all behind, 100% of the time, work to do that, and that's very, very important. So that was my 5 cents into this. So I apologize if I took too long. I don't talk much. That's what they say. But today we do. We want to highlight the renaissance of Federal Hill. We want to make some very special announcement. Our nation, our state, and certainly our capital have gone through a lot in these last 2 years with COVID and everything going on. But I think today is a day to talk about really good things. For Federal Hill, really, no one has kind of, again, if you know the guy I'm about to introduce, no one really realizes what he does. A lot of people think he just walks up and down the street. It's kind of like a light fixture. It's not really. But Rick Simone, President Rick Simone, has stood by really everything that we've done, and the important part is we can all stand here and talk about the Hill and how pretty this looks, but no one really sees what it is, what it talks about. You know, walking into the streets and seeing, you know, oh, we got to do this, and sometimes I just don't even listen. I mean, I'm like, all right, Rick, you're good at it. But again, I want to really thank Rick for the work that he has put in. There's some really cool things that we're going to talk about today, and I hope you really take the time, for those who are here, to tell other people, because this is going to be a really cool summer. This is going to be a really cool summer up here, and people are really going to invest in the businesses up here, in the stores that are up here. We've got, you know, we always forget Federal Hill. We never talk about, you know, the retail things side of it, but there's some great retail side of it. So please take the time today, enjoy what you're about to hear, and pass it along. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to pass everything over to Mr. Rick Simone. A round of applause for Rick Simone. I am.
Yeah, Armando's getting really good at this. I'm going to have to do much speaking after this anyway.
Never going to happen.
So, you know, first and foremost, I want to thank all the people that are standing here behind me right now, because, as Armando said, I do walk up and down the street a lot, but I can't do the things that I've been doing for the last few years, especially without the people. Governor McKee, even before he was governor, was lieutenant governor, was constantly on calls with us and helping us out through all of our COVID needs, all of our small business situations. So, Governor, thank you for everything. It's greatly appreciated. Mayor Elorza, Fresco wouldn't have started if it weren't for you. It was an idea that we talked about when he first became mayor, and years later there was the right opportunity to make it happen. So thank you again for standing behind us for that. Council President Igliozzi, who is over here. The last 2 years I've had to go to him for a lot of things. A lot of different needs have arisen, a lot of different stuff that's come up that required council support. And between himself and Councilwoman Rachel Miller, who's our council person, have been phenomenal supporters of the Hill. So their support has not gone unnoticed, and thank you both very much. Stefan Pryor, probably the one man that is the sick of me the most. Commerce Secretary Pryor has not had an easy job this last couple of years, and I have not made his life any easier these last couple of years. But your support has been tremendous. You've been out, you've walked with us, not just in here, but in the rest of the state. And a lot of the things that we've accomplished to support our small businesses from grants have been ideas that brewed with him and then got to our governor and to previous governor. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rick.
And our police department, who is here, and our first responders, our fire and everything. The last couple of years have not been easy on them. Chief Clements, who's been around for a long time and is a very long-time friend of mine, thank you, because we can't accomplish what we do and make the public feel safe and everyone up here without your team and your support. So thank you. I've got the major and my captain and my lieutenant all here, who I just met with before. Thank you all very much as well. So, as Armando said, we've all been through a tremendous amount. The last 2 years, we tried to work for the greater good. We tried to keep a sense of optimism. And most of you that I've talked to with stories, it's all been about the bad side, the tough side, the things that have been challenging. I feel that on the Hill we've accomplished a lot that has kind of gone unnoticed, and this is kind of our point to talk about this renaissance that's occurred on Federal Hill. Some of the things that are behind you and it may not have been noticeable is that during the heart of COVID, up until this point, Federal Hill had all new gas lines installed. Doesn't sound like a sexy topic, but we had 50 years worth of infrastructure done up and down the hill, with the hill completely torn up and gas lines installed from one end of the hill to the other. New water mains were run at the same time because the roads were open. The sewer lines were cleaned at the same time because the roads were open. All things that would have been unbearable to do in a typical time of the year with all the traffic and the business that happens up here. Those things have saved us for 40 to 50 years of infrastructure needing to be done again. Now as a result, you see Atwells Ave has been repaved. The majority of the avenue has been completely repaved up and down the avenue. We have new sidewalks that are in. Up until these new sidewalks going in, you could count 14 different types of pavers walking up and down the avenue. You'd have trip hazards, you'd have this. The sidewalks now are pristine, look beautiful. The mayor's team worked incredibly hard. Leo from the Parks Department, Nate, Craig, all the team over there, transportation, all worked incredibly hard with us. Today you're going to see they've started redoing our crosswalks. Up and down the avenue you're going to have pavers and all the crosswalks. They're finishing up. The plaza behind you, the plaza at the Arch and at St. John's at the church, all new pavers by the end of the year will be in there to really finish up the street and dress up Atwells Ave, bringing back that Renaissance feel, that Italian-European feel to the avenue. Other things that are starting to come, both the mayor and the governor we've worked with to replace and work for a program to replace all of our lighting system up and down the avenue. It's outdated, it's been here since the 70s. There's a lot of challenges with it. Yes, there's a lot of challenges with it, and we spent a lot of time on it. So those are one of the future projects coming up to replace the lighting up here. And I thank both the mayor and the governor for their support in realizing the need and the importance behind it. In the last, I want to say 9 months, it's kind of going to notice, but we tried to bring attention. Everybody was worried about the closing and about losing businesses. We did some things up here that we thought maintained the hill, Al Fresco being one of those that we're going to talk about. As a result of Al Fresco, the interest in Federal Hill came really strong. People coming up here and saying, that building's empty, can we do this here? Is this person willing to help us expand? They're willing to do this. In the last 9 months or so, we had new restaurants open. Ours, who are here over here with us, opened up. Bonanno, which is Armando's new place, opened up, and Mambo Sushi, which is right down the street. So that's 3 new restaurants that just in the last year came to the Hill. Because of their results in coming in and their success in just a short time, I'm happy to tell you we have 3 other new restaurants that are going to be opening up. One that just opened up this past weekend for a soft opening, Captain Louis, which went into the old Sienna space. So that space has already been taken over. We also have a new tapas place that's going down the street next to Don Jose's. It's the same owners as that group. They'll be opening up towards the middle to end of May. And I want to make sure Pianta, am I saying it correctly? Pianta, yeah. A new vegan destination that I'm told the food is amazing. You've been doing a kitchen already, which we've been working with, a new location that's opening up down at this end of the hill, and a brand new condo space. So 3 new restaurants that are going to be opening up again. That brings us to 6 new places within a year's time on Federal Hill. Something that if you'd asked us a year ago, we would have thought we would have been losing businesses. Our recent residential projects, and this is something that I'm really proud of. Federal Hill hasn't had an influx of new people coming to live here in the last decade. A few apartments here and there getting rented, that type of thing. We've had 3 major projects that have finished in the last year. Those 3 major projects that brought just under 1,000 new people living on Atwells Avenue, which is huge for us. People that are living here, shopping here, bringing their guests here, supporting the area. We're thankful that they have faith in coming here. We know that it's a little more affordable than other parts of the city and the state to come here. And there's 2 more projects coming on that are new buildings coming in. So we expect to add another 150 to 200 new people living in. Every one of those projects I mentioned, within weeks of their listings, were full. They were rented out, which is an amazing feat for us. So these things are why we're calling it this Renaissance. We have this up and coming that's going to be happening for us. The dates of our events, the next thing before I turn it over to the governor to come in, our annual events are all coming back, and they're all coming back in full force. We improved upon them in the last year. Thanks to the mayor, we were able to expand Fresco last year and keeping that same pattern. So I'm excited to say that Fresco will begin again May 13th of this year and go on for 20 weeks. A lot of work behind it, a lot of things that go behind it to make it happen. We are changing up some of the traffic patterns to make it easier, allow for more parking, and it looks like we're going to have about 30 participants this year that have already signed on to participate, so it's a great thing that we're excited for. The other 2 dates I just want to put out there is our summer festival is going to be Father's Day weekend again, so it's going to be June 17th through the 19th. The summer festival will take place for 3 days, and our Columbus Festival is going to be for 4 days. It'll be October 7th through the 10th. So those are all our big announcements for the festivals coming back in Fresco. We know that we're going to get a lot of support. This last year, there was 9 stories, national stories, just on Fresco tonight. So we're very proud of that. That being said, I think I've spoken enough. So I'd like to introduce the governor to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you for your leadership and your willingness in a very difficult time to bring people together as we, our number one objective over the last 13 months as governor was the health and safety of the people of the state of Rhode Island, and we couldn't have not have done that without the cooperation and in many times, we're in conflict with one another because we want the economy to do well, but we can't have the economy do well unless we have the health. And rolling in to be number 1 in vaccinations in the country is in due part to the partnerships that we had with you and many of the businesses here at Federal Hill, along around the state of Rhode Island. Your resilience and your persistence is something that I admire, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And I did enjoy the fact that we were here with my wife Susan Fresco, dining right around the corner here, right? And that was a lot of fun. And we encourage people to take advantage this year in May, and prior to May, support all our restaurants here and all our businesses here in Federal Hill. So I want to thank everybody that I work with and the mayor and our local police. We just have to support them really strongly, and along with our Secretary of Commerce and his whole team, because we have tried to make, and I think we've been successful at making the economy that second priority, right, to help. And we're doing well. Stefan will keep on reminding me, number 1 in the Northeast in our recovery. Last time I saw, we were in the top 5 in the country. We're going to keep that. And the only way we keep that is by supporting our small businesses, supporting people who are out there doing the work to keep our economy going. And I'm glad, I'm very glad that we're no longer living in this plexiglass economy that I know that we did not like at all. And it's great to be in this spot where we are in that position to move forward in a way that's going to be very positive for our economy. Struggling still on workforce, but we're under 4% on our unemployment rate now. When have we ever led an economy out of a downturn like we have here in Rhode Island? And when have we ever had an unemployment rate that was lower than Massachusetts and Connecticut, and significantly lower than they are right now? So we're competing, and the way that we compete is to invest in our small businesses, and we're going to continue to do that. I'm grateful to the General Assembly as well for early in the session to pass the Rhode Island Rebounds proposal, and Stefan's going to give me an update later today of where all those $2,500 and $5,000 grants are, and I can tell you that we continue to work. And I texted somebody in Commerce today. I don't want to be a pest, but I want that money out, and so we're going to make sure that happens. And one of the proposals that we've had is that Take It Outside program. in our budget. It was great that the General Assembly moved quicker and made sure that that lasted past that April time frame that I believe that it would have sunsetted. So, to take it outside, the alfresco dining season is upon us. I wanted to let businesses in Federal Hill know that my administration will be awarding over $200,000 to help alfresco, support alfresco dining, and take it outside activities for this coming season.
Yeah.
We'll have more to say about that and many other programs to help our small business in the coming days. But that's the idea, and we look forward to working with our General Assembly. And I would say, let the General Assembly know that the budget that I put in is going to help small businesses, and let's support the articles, the small business friendly article that I put in the budget this year. That's a first. I balanced it in the budget. We'll do it again next year and the following year and the following year. And the state of Rhode Island is going to continue to move up the rankings in terms of small business friendliness. And with the help of people that are here on Federal Hill, along with Rick, along with the hospitality, along with the small business organizations, and a number of the other small business organizations, whether it's Hispanic. I was at the Black Business Association annual meeting last night. We're going to support our small business, and we're going to do it in a big way. And what better place than to announce it and start it right here in Federal Hill. Thank you so much.
So one quick thing I forgot to add in there, two quick things, is there's, in addition to the 3 new restaurants, we have 3 businesses that have expanded. I want to make sure I put this out there because this expansion is important. They're literally doubling their spaces. Baco behind me is going to be taking over the space next to him was the former salon, expanding, literally doubling their space. Sage Restaurant has opened their upstairs as an event space, and ours took over pretty much the same thing, doubling their space next to it. So 3 spaces that would have been empty again have now become larger parts of restaurants, so it goes to our thought. I also do want to mention our board members that are here. So I have Chris, Dave, and Kenny. I think Clara is somewhere from the board. These people get put through a lot with me in trying to accomplish things, so I want to recognize them and thank them as well. And with that, I'd like to bring up the mayor.
Thank you, Rick. I want to add my voice to the chorus and thank Rick for all the work he's done as the president of the Federal Hill Commerce Association. I didn't know he did things beyond move up and walk up and down the street, but it's good to know. But thank you in all seriousness, Rick, for everything that you do, and you have our partnership and you have our support going forward. Chris, you are just an incredible leader for this organization as well. Appreciate working with you and for everything that you do. Thank you, Governor McKee, for believing in Providence, believing in Federal Hill, and for supporting the Federal Hill Commerce Association so they can continue alfresco dining. Thank you, Commerce Secretary Stefan Pryor. I appreciate everything you do to bring attention and resources to big, small, and micro enterprises. To our police department, thank you so much for helping to keep us all safe and being safe and feeling safe at the same time. So thank you very much. I want to recognize a couple of colleagues in government. State Senator Sam Bell, who represents the area and is always here supporting and representing. Councilor Rachel Miller, who may or may not be here, but she is. Hey, there we go. Hey, Councilor. Great to see you, Councilor. And certainly my partner in city government, Council President John Igliozzi. Great to see you here as well. All right, I think that's everyone. So Rick did steal pretty much everything that I was going to say, but that's perfectly fine. I simply want to add that, as a lifelong Providence resident, I remember coming to Federal Hill as a child. We'd always come during the Columbus Day Festival. My parents, we loved the Italian sausages, so we'd come here to get the best Italian sausages you could find. And it was an absolutely magical place. People outside, nice weather, vendors, a mix of people from throughout the city and the state just coming together and having a great time. It was truly, truly magical. Now, over the years, we've gone through our ups and downs throughout the city. I remember before I became mayor, if y'all remember, much of the conversation around Federal Hill was these bars that were attracting people to late hours of the night, and we had some really, really terrible incidences. Well, we've talked about Renaissance, and in order for you to have a Renaissance, you've got to be resilient. And that's exactly what the Federal Hill Commerce Association has been over the decades, and it brings us to the point where we're here today. You know, it really is a special time for Federal Hill. We are still known throughout the country as a city, as that place that has, you know, all those cool, great Italian restaurants. We tell them it's not Little Italy, it's Federal Hill. It's our own special brand. And to see al fresco dining come these past couple of years and recreate that magical spirit that I was fortunate enough to experience as a child here in Federal Hill was just incredible. So I want to invite everyone throughout the state this summer, beginning in the middle of May, please come and enjoy this al fresco dining. Not only can you have great food, but you can walk up the street, maybe have a little drink in your hand and enjoy it as you stroll. Listen to some great music outside, and just overall have a wonderful experience for you and your entire family. That is the magic of Providence, and I'm so excited about everything that y'all have done here at the Commerce Association to make that a reality. Congratulations, and I can't wait to see you here May, beyond, and doing so much more in the months and years to come. Thank you all so much.
So as I mentioned, I kind of am a pain to him most times, but I want to bring up Commerce Secretary Pryor because his partnership has been tremendous to us, and he's got some other good news I believe to share.
Thank you. We value your kind of pain. You know, what you've heard from Armando first and then from Rick is a rendition of all of the improvements that have been made and are being made here on Federal Hill. I think we should call that Rick's List. And I'm impressed. Mayor, I think we're all impressed. Governor, we want to keep investing in Rick's List. Because what it's doing is it's making sure that we ever improve the quality of life. We improve the front door to small businesses here on Federal Hill, which is a key commercial corridor in our capital city and indeed in our state. And it's one of the main attractions to people from outside of our state here in Rhode Island. So we're very proud of it, and that's why Governor McKee keeps making these investments, doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on Rick's List. Across two governors, we've offered in the course of this pandemic over $500,000 in investments through Take It Outside and other programs for Federal Hill activities in Armando and Rick's organization. And we know that Rick Simone's going to implement it well. We're going to see deliveries occur. We're going to see more people arriving as customers. We're going to see al fresco dining. We're going to see beautiful lighting. We're going to see a gorgeous, walkable, attractive center of our capital city for these purposes, which is why, as Governor McKee has announced, we're going to invest over $200,000 more. And thanks to Governor McKee for his determination and his generosity, we're going to announce millions of dollars of Take It Outside investments on Monday. So stay tuned for that. Anyone wondering, talk to Matt Sheath. He'll tell you exactly what we're doing on Monday. But we thought it was appropriate, given Rick's absolutely proactive and visionary and get-it-done approach, that we preview with this 200,000 plus today. Now, the governor's talked about how efforts like this are contributing to a strong economic recovery. Plenty of smaller businesses are still struggling, and I'm going to come back to that. But what Rick was alluding to during the quick intro is that we are seeing great economic momentum. The governor referred to the fact that we're in the top tier in the country for our economic recovery, thanks to Mayor Alorza's efforts too, and the efforts of mayors across our whole state in a coalition with this former mayor, our Governor McKee. We're in the top tier. By the way, we don't wish them poor, we don't wish them ill, but Massachusetts is 48th in the country. New York is 50th. We're in the top tier, hovering towards the top, #1 in the whole Northeast. What do we have to do to make sure that the businesses that have been struggling, restaurants, event professionals, valet operators, who really got hit hardest, that they continue to see our investment? So thanks to the governor's flexibility, we created what we call the Impacted Industries Program, hospitality, events, tourism, for the aforementioned business types. We're doing an extension of a program under Governor McKee. And again, this is what Rick was alluding to. It's very important. This restaurant and event and valet program is being extended through April 21st, so please help us spread the word. It offers up to $12,500 for the hardest hit businesses, including restaurants, in that category. So Armando, please help us get the word out through your great coalition. And we're dropping the threshold for loss from 35% to 25% between 2021 and 2019. Bottom line is you can have experienced a little bit less of a loss, and you're now eligible under the governor's restaurant program. So lots of good news today. We're making investments in the physical environment, in the ecosystem of Federal Hill, thanks to Rick's list, and we're putting more aid on the street to help small businesses. Thank you to everyone up here. I do want to point out, Council President Igliozzi, you've been a stalwart supporter, and we're working on a lot together, along with Mayor Alorza. Thank you, and thank you, Chief, and thank you to the entire board here. Under Governor McKee, we're going to continue to get it done. Thank you.
So the last person I would just bring up, and Stefan just alluded to it, is Council President Igliozzi. He's always been a big supporter of Providence as a whole, but especially Federal Hill. I know it's near and dear to his family, but I'd like to bring him up because the last 2 years between him and Councilwoman Miller, I've had to ask for a lot of things. Sam Bowles had to hear me complain. They've all had to hear me these last couple of years, but Council President, you picked up my calls at times that I was shocked at, so thank you. So I'd like to bring it up here.
And welcome everybody to this great, beautiful day, isn't it? And yes, by the way, I want to, of course, welcome Governor McKee, of course, and Secretary Stefan Pryor, and of course, Mayor Alorza. And of course, by the way, not only do we probably got the top tier, but we also have the top tier Chief of Police here, Chief Clements. Without him, his troops out here, his folks that are committed to the city, they're the ones that keep us safe, secure, and make places like this a place that people want to visit. My constituents, your friends, your families, people from out of the city, out of the state, that's important. So I want to make a special thing to the chief of this place. Because they're professional, they're honest, and they're the kinds of people we need to help us make this city a great city it is today. Next, of course, we're going to thank Rick Simone. Where is Rick? Yes, of course, we'll take his call. And of course, Rick and of course his board, the Federal Hill Commerce Association, and everybody involved. You know, Councilman Miller wanted to remind you about the community. And all these folks up here, it's all about community, right? At the end of the day, it's just not the folks that are here up here, but it's the people that live in the neighborhood, live in the city, live in the state, that make this place work for all of us. So it's important that we recognize the community that lives up here, who's willing to invest into this wonderful area and make it a place they call home. Rick's correct. I just actually one of the folks that just drove up here told me how she lives down the street over here and how she loves walking here with her boyfriend at night and going to the restaurants and places. And that's what it's about, you know, creating a nice, wonderful environment for us to enjoy. I also want to make a note that Councilman Miller, of course, is a phenomenal advocate for the federal area as well as her whole entire ward. And it's important, by the way, because that kind of passion is what gets things done for the people that live here, for the city of Providence, and the people that visit. For example, from the fountain behind us that was broken and in disrepair, to, of course, the mundane things like new trash cans and sidewalks and streets. Council help with rezoning the area, and maybe hopefully getting rid of some noise pollution also. But the council has been a strong advocate with her leadership and with my little help that she's been able to take. We've been able to help and focus on these types of commerce areas in the city of Providence, which is important to all. It helps everybody. The city and the state are interconnected. When Federal Hill does well, the city does well, and the state does well. So it's all important for all of us to put our shoulders into this and keep on fighting to make the city, the state, the best it can be. I also want to say one of the things that last is that it's important that we reflect upon all the people that work every day. I'm talking about the unsung heroes, the men and women who work in the Parks Department and DPW, the ones that help keep the streets clean and the sidewalks clean and all that stuff that we all take for granted, but we all go respect for having such a welcoming, inviting place to be. And it's important to identify the city workers who keep this place running and keeping it a safe place to come and visit. So I want to thank the city of Providence, of course, thank the mayor and his team and his effort, of course, by the way, and the people that work for the city of Providence to keep this place a great place. With that said, I just got one last thing. On behalf of City Council, we put together a proclamation to begin the season for Rick Simone and the people. We're all here. Everybody come. Providence is a great place to be. Federal Hill is the place to be in the summer. Thank you all. Congratulations.
So to close it out, because I think we did cover a lot. Thank you, Council President. I encourage the media this year to definitely please talk to the people that are here that are new restaurants or expanding, so you can really understand the work and effort that's going behind this renaissance and keeping things going. Also, Stefan wanted me to make sure, and it's important, the Council President just brought up Unsung Heroes. From Stefan's team, I want to acknowledge Hannah and Adam because they have to deal with me probably more than Stefan, so I want to thank them. From the Governor's team, Matt and Andrea, I think, is still here. And Mayor, I hope she's here, else here, Teresa Agonia, who deals the brunt of what I have to deal with for the Mayor's office. So I want to thank all of them because they really are the unsung heroes behind the scenes that help us bring these items to fruition once they're decided. So thank you all for being here today.
Great. And the Governor, a couple of questions. Sure. You guys did a tour here a couple of months ago about the dangers of the lighting in Federal Hill. Why the city of Providence never help you out?
The city of Providence, that's not completely accurate. The city of Providence is completely helping us out.
When they started? Because you brought the governor here a couple of months ago because the mayor didn't want to help you.
And the mayor did a separate walkthrough with me as well. And the mayor and the governor's team have come together and how we're going to do this. Like everything else up here, these projects are not simple projects, I can assure you. Because it hasn't happened as fast as we want it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We're in great shape with the partnership between the mayor and the governor. They both have pointed out different things. There's even things now that you're going to walk and see today that are still being worked on over the next couple of weeks. I mentioned the crosswalks, the plazas, the lighting situation, I can promise you is going to happen. And we put a lot of time into it. So, I'm sorry?
How long is it going to take to replace?
From what we're guesstimating right now is that we're looking at between the fiscal year that ends July 1st and at the end of the year, we'll hope to get it all in by the end of the year. So, I don't want to misconstrue that because it is an important project, and we've worked with both the governor and the mayor together, and it is going to happen.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
Question.
Did you want to talk to the governor still on it? Or?
No, I think you did great.
All right.
I know up in Boston in the North End, they're charging restaurants to have outdoor dining. Is that anything that's going to be happening here?
So the restaurants are a partner in this. The restaurants do come together. There is a monthly fee that the restaurants do. It is nowhere near what's happened for Boston. I can actually tell you that I was contacted to actually go up and speak to the restaurants and the convention bureau up there. There is a fee that the restaurants pay. It comes out to about $300 a weekend that they contribute. The overall budget for Al Fresco is way more than what we're even getting. And the monies that we're going to be getting from the Take It Outside is going to allow us to make these improvements. A lot of it is going into event infrastructure. So K-rails, cones, extra tables, heaters, tents, things that are the infrastructure to make the event happen so that the restaurants' costs don't go up. But the restaurants are absolutely, and the retailers are absolutely a partner in making this event happen.
And I know we emphasize, getting funds to those restaurants that are struggling, but what about like the worker shortage? Are all restaurants going to be able to take place and be able to participate in Al Fresco? Or?
Yeah, so I could tell you that we are better off than we were last year as far as our staffing levels. It has started to improve. One of the things that I'm happy to say, and we're going to be working on this over the next couple of weeks, is that Matt Weldon on the governor's team has been working with us to help us create some I'm not sure the exact title is, I apologize, but kind of like the skills of recruiting people. So we are going to be doing a federal job fair, thanks to a partnership with the governor and Matt Weldon, to try to bring more people up here. It is something we recognize, and to be very honest with you, it's this time of year that it always happens, regardless of whether there was COVID or not. Every time you get to the summer, we're looking to increase staff levels and staff up, so it's not an uncommon thing.
But I will add, because I'm the restaurateur on the street, have patience. Tell the customers out there we're happy to have them. This is the first time for some in 2 years that they can be out, mask-free, happy. Like I tell everybody when they come to see us, this is your table for the night. Take your time, enjoy the night. We haven't had it like this. Life's too short. Enjoy the moment.
Patience is key. I'm sorry? So Al Fresco will be the avenue will close at 3:30 in the afternoon. and reopen at 2:30 in the morning. We've changed that by a half hour each way to accommodate some business needs and also some residential needs to make it so that it stays peaceful during those time frames. So that'll be open.
Just Fridays.
Fridays and Saturdays, every Friday and Saturday. Yep, for the 20 weeks. All right, thank you all.
Awesome.
Thank you.